you going to be speaking?
I'm just going to read. She evidently wanted something read from this book.
Okay.
And so Beth and I kind of.
So I'll point that mic down a little bit for you.
Oh, you don't want to go?
Yeah. So because you want to be close to it. So this room is so hard.
Yeah, I would guess.
To project sound in. Okay. All right. So do you shoot video and stuff? Do you shoot video? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Look, I might be able to help you out sometime. Yeah. Before we leave, Yes. Absolutely. Thank you, sir. All right. That rhymes.
I'm just so, no question. Yeah. Oh, I love her so much, Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
So I got to listen to you on the car ride over.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, right. Well, all right. Okay. Well, no, I'm fine right now. I appreciate you. No, I'm maybe later. I'm gonna take a little break in a little bit. So, well, thank you so much. Yeah.
We love them, they love us, right?
No question. What's the Oh, yes, Karen. Yes, hi, Karen. Nice to meet you too. Well, thank you. Oh, well, I will. I will now, Karen. You, I appreciate that. No, I'm good right now. Yeah, I'm gonna take a break a little bit. But everything was great. Matt met me and helped me out, and so I was taking care of it. Thanks, Karen. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, wow. That's going back. Yes, sir. You're that kid, right? You've grown, man. Okay, I remember you. Yeah, man. Yeah. You know, one day I'm gonna break that bad boy out, man. What was that? I did one of your tunes. Yes. At you. Right, exactly, man. Yeah. That was so much fun, man. That was a great time. And your family was there, man. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised that they were able to get you, you know. But it was so nice, man. That was such a nice thing. You know, so glad your mother was there. Yeah. 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 That's, yeah. Yeah. That happened to me too, man. Yeah. You know, 'cause everybody in my family was like, man, what are you doing? And then when they all came down here, you know, that time, and how they were treated and everything, and it was like, okay, I see, you know, yeah, 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 right. They've got that impression. Uh, yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh man. Well, oh, so you got? Let me see that. Okay, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen this one. Okay. That's okay. All right, man. I'll get one. I'll get one. Okay. Okay, I see it 6:30. Oh, man, that's 5:25 after now. Okay, well, let me get a couple more tunes. don't either. Every now and then, yeah, I play a few places. I'm not right in the downtown, in the block, Still playing, man. Yeah. How you been, man?
I took off in 2018 and decided to let go. I was supposed to be exposed to the entire United States anyways.
Wow.
That was 16 years ago.
Wow.
It wasn't the time. And I was planning on doing trips and stuff like that. A lot of fun memories of it.
Oh, man. All good times, man. I've been doing it for a long time. Still love to see Aila come in. It's quite a lady. Yeah.
It's the last time I actually saw him.
Okay. Yeah, I just got to meet him tonight. We've been corresponding, the last couple of weeks.
He was young.
And I met his sister too. I could tell her right away she was with his sister. Yeah. And she smiled, man. I knew, okay. It was great. I know. That means a lot to me.
Good evening, everyone. Hello. Good evening. Can you all hear me? Can you understand my words? My name is Robert Cuccioli, and I'm very proud to say that I am Aila's brother. On behalf of her daughter, Beth, her husband, Jerry, their daughter, Ailey, my sister, Joan, and I, Aila's niece, her husband, her nephews, and their wives, my partner, Lila, and Aila's dear friends, Lori Marino and Kathy Lester, I want to thank you all for coming tonight to celebrate the life of Aila Accad. Excuse me. Aila's wish was to have a party. Well, there's a new thought. And we are honoring her by doing such. She adored her family. She loved her friends and her colleagues. And she wanted nothing more than to have us all come together on this evening, her birthday, her rebirth day, to celebrate her, to meet one another, to share our stories of our relationships with her, from the profound, the poignant, and the ridiculous. Harkening back to her birth, of we four siblings, she was the first out of the gate. She embraced that mantle of trailblazer, and in many ways, it showed up in all aspects of her life. She was a breech birth. She came out backwards. And since that time, as many of you have experienced, she continued to never do things in a conventional way. The words no, can't, and impossible were not in her vocabulary. They were words to be overcome. She lived by the word yes, to go toward the possible. And that's what guided her life. My God, look how it turned out. As a sister, it was difficult to put anything into words, actually. But she was a best friend. She was always available for a comforting word, exuberant support for anything that I did. She had sage advice and hearty laughter. She would always answer every phone call with a big, "Hey, sweetie," which warmed my heart. And at the end of each, she would say, "I love you," and we would vocalize a hug. I won't try to even repeat what, yeah, give it to me. Through the years, as I took what I called the annual brother trip to visit all my sisters, though various commitments and I had made that much less than annual, I was blessed to have a lot of one-on-one time with her. She'd take me around to all her haunts, and we would tour her beloved Charleston. She so loved and was proud of her community. Our conversations would encompass everything from thoughts on life and deep beliefs to whatever obscure movie or documentary she recently pulled from the library that week and she wanted me to see. Recently, before she left us, we had a deep conversation and reminisced about her life. Though we all feel that she had much more left to do, she felt her bucket list was complete. She lived her life to the fullest, She left no stone unturned, and she had no regrets. I will miss those talks. I will miss those hugs. I will miss that big laugh and her enthusiasm and brightening smile. She was revered in her community and by her family. She loved to learn. She loved good conversation, spirited debate, and no, she did not like to lose. As witnessed by her family in our Thanksgiving evening tradition of charades. Full contact, we called them. And no, my dear sister, however you continue to argue it to the end, Caligula still is not a play written by William Shakespeare. Aila loved good food, good scotch. She loved music and dancing. And to that, I want to thank you, Bob Thompson. Where'd you go? I want to thank you for being here tonight, to give your time and your talent to play for us and Aila one more time. She loved nothing more than to listen to you play and to dance to your music, something I am grateful to have had experience with her on more than one occasion. So thank you, Bob. Over the course of the next, I don't know, we'll see how long it takes, an hour or so, there will be some friends to come up and say a few words and read a few passages and perform. And first, I would like to invite Sky Kirshner from Unity of Kanawha Valley. Sky?
Aila was a regular speaker and teacher with us at Unity of Kanawha Valley, and I'm really glad to be able to represent that group here tonight as we honor her life and we recognize the transition that we are all going through as we perceive this community without her physical presence. Robert, I really appreciated your giving us a sense of the context of Aila's life and her place in your family. I thought I would share a little bit about Aila's last week, her final week. I visited Aila on her deathbed the week before she died. When I got to the hospital and onto the floor, you know how you don't always know which way to turn, right or left, because you're not sure how the numbering works. There was no doubt in my mind where Aila's room was, because there were all these people in the hallway talking and visiting and sometimes laughing quietly. And so it was obvious where her room was. The hallway was full of people from Aila's life. It seemed like a gathering of the recovery, healing, resiliency circles of Charleston. So many aspects of her life represented there. And everyone in this quiet, appreciative mood, everyone was there to honor Aila, to keep her company, and to keep each other company throughout the transition. As you may know, they were only allowing a certain number of people to go into the room at a time. When it was my turn to go in, what struck me was how hard it was to recognize her at first. I came close to her bed and she grabbed my hand and she brought it right to her solar plexus, right to her heart chakra. And then it was obvious she was still herself. I'm guessing she did this with everyone who came into the room. I see some of you nodding. She grabbed your hand and brought you close. Aila was so unafraid to love and to let that love flow from her and through her. She genuinely cared about people. She wanted people to be their best selves. She had a firm conviction that the tide of love lifts all boats. And she grabbed my hand so tight. She brought me close and she did not let me go. I wasn't sure what I was going to say when I saw her. You know, these moments can be so hard. But the words that came were full of love and of gratitude. I told her how proud I was of all that she had accomplished and all the good service that she had provided here in the valley and in the world. Her life was a life of service. She cried, I cried, and I could not tell, but they almost seemed to be tears of joy. I think she knew she had done good work and that there was a sense of completeness about her time as she was transitioning. We breathed together a few breaths. I offered a little prayer, and then an affirmation that came to me, which was something like, even as I learned to let go, I deeply and completely accept myself. And then I thought it would be good to have a group prayer. There were so many people, I see you laughing, Paula, and there were so many people out in the hallway. I didn't see how we could do a circle because of the restrictions about how many people were allowed in the room. So I thought, well, maybe we could do a human chain out from the room into the hallway. So we all held hands. We gave thanks for Aila's life and her service and for every moment of connection. The next thing that happened was so fitting. The nurse came in and scolded us. We had too many people in the room. And that seemed fitting too. Aila was an iconoclast. She made her own way through the world. She was a force to be reckoned with, a force of both will and of nature. As Robert said, she was willing to break with the conventional, with the rules, in order to serve the person right in front of her. It was always about the person in front of her, never about the rules. She navigated the worlds of rules and institutions with humor and with grace. She was always in the service of advocating for people. She loved fiercely, she loved well, and she offered service at the best and highest level. Many, many people were helped and healed by her service and by her presence. This community grieves, and we know we are stronger for her time with us. We will miss her, and I will miss her. This emotional freedom technique, this energy tapping thing that Aila promoted and taught and did with many of us, there's a little thing that you say when you're doing this tapping on the acupuncture points. With all of my problems and limitations, I deeply and completely accept myself. And so I offer up these affirmations. Even in this present moment, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even as we honor Aila's life and we move into a transition regarding her, we deeply and completely accept ourselves. Even as I let go of this amazing person, I deeply and completely accept myself. Whatever guilt I might be carrying, whatever remorse or regrets, whatever unfinished business, I deeply and completely accept myself. May we here and those who will mourn with us extend the work that Aila came here to do. May we all deeply and completely accept ourselves. Amen.
That was, thank you so much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to welcome Aila's daughter, Beth Elkins.
Mom didn't pass on the love for public speaking to me, so please bear with me. Shortly before Mom passed, we had the conversation about how she wanted to be remembered when she was no longer with us. I want a party, she said. And a party she got. Just look around. Look at the legacy she was. If she were standing next to me right now, she would be crying tears so full of gratitude for all of you coming together to celebrate what she meant to you. And I believe she's here. And she's crying those tears of gratitude. So when I first started thinking about sharing at this celebration, I was totally against it. Why? Well, one, the love I don't have for public speaking, and the question of what would I have to share to all of you that you don't already know. You already know that she was wiser beyond her years, that she loved everything nursing and how she advocated for nurses and for people everywhere. You probably already know how much she loved her family, and you already know that she was a leader, a teacher, a friend, a colleague, and the list goes on. So what would I say? Well, I would start by saying that she was the one that welcomed the baby girl, whom she knew very little about, wholeheartedly into her home, not knowing what the baby would need. The one that wrote journals about her life with this new baby girl and how much she loved her before she ever came to her. She was the one that didn't give this baby girl life, but gave this baby girl a life. The one that this baby girl would call mom. She is the one who gave this baby girl the middle name of the grandmother who she adored, and would later tell this baby all wonderful stories about this grandmother, leaving the girl to adore this grandmother as well. The one who taught this girl where she came from once she was old enough to understand. She was the one to instill the importance of family to this little girl, and the importance of sitting at the table every night for dinner. The one who carried traditions from her childhood to this girl, and along the way made new ones that this girl then carried on to her own family. She was the one that taught this girl she hated split pea soup, and I still do, by the way. She was the one who stood in line for hours to get that Cabbage Patch Kid this girl wanted so badly. The one who fiercely advocated for this girl, and when it was time, taught this girl to fiercely advocate for herself, even to teachers, but only when necessary. Ailey. The one that made mistakes and taught the girl that it was okay to make mistakes and to actually learn from them. She was the one that introduced the pool to this girl who never outgrew the love to swim and still pretends she's a mermaid when she gets in the water. She was the one that would take walks with this girl to find berries, pine cones, and branches to decorate the cabin at Christmas in Bluestone. And later told this girl that this was one of her favorite memories with the girl. She was the one who sent this girl to camp, where the girl fell in love with camp. She was the one to teach this girl that it was okay to ask questions when she didn't know something. She was the one who allowed this girl to make her own decisions, but was always close by. She was the one to take this girl sailing for the first time, creating a love for this experience and anything involving the Chesapeake Bay. She was the one who was so supportive, even when the girl decided to take a year off from college for herself, never doubting that she would go back when she felt it was right. She was the one that believed in this girl, even when she didn't believe in herself, especially when she didn't believe in herself. The one who taught her that you should get what you pay for, and if you didn't, that it was okay to contest it. She was the one to take this girl on her first cruise as a gift when she graduated from college. The one who taught this girl to say what she felt and mean it. The one that was there to walk this girl down the aisle to the man she would later dub son-in-love instead of son-in-law. She was the one always cheering this girl on for the next chapter of her adult life. The one who was there when this girl had her own baby girl and cried tears of pure joy when she first laid eyes on her. She was the one whose name would go towards naming that baby girl. The one who wholeheartedly accepted this girl's birth mother and family and her having a relationship with them if she chose to. She was the one who taught this girl that no matter how cold it was outside, a convertible with the top down was still a good idea. The one to stand on the front porch and blow kisses until the girl turned out of the driveway every single time she came over. The one who thought of this girl through every decision she ever made. The one that loved this girl fiercely and taught this girl to love fiercely. The one that took her granddaughter on the coolest spring break trips ever. The one that had everything all together for this girl so that she didn't have to worry about anything when it was her time to leave this earth. She was the one. The one that told this girl that she learned so much from her and how much she admired her. She was the one that this girl learned to honor as a mother and a friend. And the one that left her legacy with this girl in this girl. I'm done. But I do want to thank some people, actually. I'll just take a quick minute. Thank you all for coming and being here tonight, for the outpouring of love shown to me and my family through phone calls, texts, visits, Facebook messages, cards, gifts, meals, baked goods, arts, and poems. Thank you so much. Every single thing was heartfelt, and we thank you so much. I want to thank the best girlfriends that I could ever ask for. Casey, Bethany, Christina, to only name a few. You have made the last months and weeks a little more bearable just by being you. To Aila's Angels, Mom named this group that for a reason. Thank you for being there with her when I couldn't, and loving my mother through life and through her cancer journey. Thank you for being there for me and loving me and my family. You truly are angels. To Lori Marino, thank you. For all the love and guidance you provided. Mom loves you dearly, and so do I and the rest of the family. To my family, I'm speechless. That doesn't happen very often. Thank you. To my cousin Katie, thank you for being there when I needed you the most, with a different perspective and just pure love. I love all of you. And to my husband, the incomparable Jerry Elkins, for weathering this storm with me. And reminding me to rejoice on the sunny days. Thank you. I love you completely. Thank you.
Now I'd like to ask a dear friend, a dear old friend of Aila to come up, Peggy Burkhardt. Peggy will do a reading for you.
Can you all hear me? My voice is soft anyway, so I need to get close to this. Aila had wanted to have a reading done from this book by Khalil Gibran, A Tear and a Smile. But when I asked Beth which one, she said she didn't say. So both of us just kind of asked Aila to show us the one, and this is the one that she chose. It's called The Song of the Flower. I am a word uttered by nature, then taken back and hidden in her heart, and a second time uttered. I am a star fallen from the blue sky upon a green carpet. I am a daughter of the elements, carried in the winter, born in the spring, reared by summer, and autumn lays me to rest. I am a gift to lovers and a nuptial crown. I am the last offering of the quick to the dead. With morning's coming, I and the breeze together proclaim the light, and even the birds, and I bid it farewell. I sway upon the plains and adore them. I breathe my fragrance to the air. I embrace slumber. And the manifold eyes of night look long upon me. I seek awakening to look on the single eye of the day. I drink of the dew's intoxication and hearken to the blackbird's song. I dance to the rhythm of the grasses shouting. I look ever heavenward to see the light, not to behold therein my image. This is the wisdom humanity has not yet learned.
That was one of Aila's favorite books. I remember coming down here not that long ago and reading a passage of it to her. That happened to be just dog-eared. That she didn't even remember what she wanted to use it for. But I just said, "Can I just read this?" And she said, "Yeah." So I read it. And it's just it's a powerful piece. I see why she loved it so much. And thank you so much, Peggy, for reading that. I'd like to ask Paula Bickman to come up. Paula's going to sing for us an original song called May All Beings Be Well.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you all hear me? Okay.
This is a song I wrote within the last couple of years, I think, and it's a prayer. The words are, may all beings be well. May all beings be happy. Alleluia. And I'll sing it 3 times, and then I hope everyone will join me. And this is a prayer for our sister Ava tonight. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. Alleluia. Alleluia. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. Alleluia. May all beings be happy. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy.
Thank you, Paula. Now we'd like to hear from Mary Beth Beller. Mary Beth.
Good evening. Can you hear me in the back? Somewhere around 1993 or 94, West Virginia State University began a program in gerontology. At the time, I was working in Older Americans Act programs, and I thought this would be a great, useful degree to pick up. So I started the program, and one night, there was a guest speaker who went by the name of Barbara Bononis. I had never seen a walking ray of sunshine, and she blew me away. She was so smart, so positive, so full of energy, and my goodness, wasn't she beautiful? And I just wanted to be around her. So I got her business card, and I sent her my resume and a cover letter outlining my skill set at the time, and I asked her for a job. I didn't even know what the woman did. I just wanted to be around her. So she called me up and said, you know, I'm basically a one-woman show, but maybe we could have coffee. And that began my nearly 30-year relationship with Aila Accad. Aila was my mentor, my rock, my friend, and I am so very grateful for the time that I had her in my life. Some weeks ago, Beth called and said that it was time to come say goodbye. And so my daughter and I went to the hospital, and as Sky alluded, there were so many people there. When we walked into the room, there were some people sitting with her, and they left so that we might have a moment. My daughter and I stood on each side of her bed and held her hand, and we spoke, and I got to tell her how grateful I am for everything that she did in my life. You know, she could always show us a better way to live, a more positive approach. It was beautiful. A few moments after we spoke, another lady came in. My daughter stepped aside. This lady took Aila's hand and said nearly verbatim what I had just said. She expressed her gratitude. She said, you know, you taught me a better way to live, and I'm so much better for having known you. And as I exited that hospital room, it was just as Sky said a few minutes earlier, all these people were there. And as I mingled throughout the different people, I kept hearing the same story over and over and over, that Aila was such a marvelous friend, a positive influence, a role model for all of us. I've had some time to think about what I might say about Aila to those who never had the opportunity to meet her. And the word that came to me was safe. Safe. Aila was a safe place for us. With Aila, we could take off our masks because Aila took us on our terms with no judgment, just love. And it was a wonderful thing to be in her presence. And so in thinking about this legacy that we now have, I want to suggest that maybe we could all be the person for whom others can take off their masks and just be. Wouldn't that make the world a better place and make Aila smile down upon us? Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Beth. I'd like to ask Aila's very special friend, Kathy Lester, to come up and speak a few words.
I have two things to share with you. One is from my heart, and another is something written by Amy Williams, who's a counselor who recently moved to Charlotte. But my story comes first. I met Barbara Bononis in 1989 when our children were attending St. Anthony's School on the west side of Charleston. I was in the cafeteria working my shift for bingo. I don't know if any of you remember, but back then, smoking was allowed inside. Through that smoky haze, I saw this beautiful woman with gorgeous white hair and this beautiful, engaging smile. I walked over to her and I said, "What the hell are we doing to ourselves?" We both laughed, and our deep friendship began. What I've always admired about her, Aila, besides her smile, was her thirst for knowledge. She would take a course in something, perfect her knowledge, take the course to teach that to others, and then offer trainings over and over and over again. Name a topic. Aila studied it. When she wasn't learning, she was teaching. And I believe she learned as much from teaching as she did from the regular course. She never stopped. She did annual soul collages at her beautiful home. I often refer to my creations. Her thirst for knowledge, for outside knowledge, was only matched by her thirst for knowing herself. Well, she also had a passion for health and for nurses. How many of you are nurses here? Yeah, baby, okay. On her journey to know herself, she decided to change her name. She told me she never liked the name Barbara. She took her ex-husband's name when they got married. And now that the children were grown up, she was going to name herself. Hence, we were introduced to Aila Accad. Wow, I call that courageous self-love. Aila also taught me how to grieve as I sat with her as her son lay dying. She taught me EFT. She taught me how to face challenges and not to let them overcome me. She had cancer. I'm not sure she ever used the word. If she did, it wasn't often. She had it. It didn't have her. A week before she passed, I saw the acceptance on her face when she knew there was no longer another protocol. She accepted. She moved on. I can still see that expression, and I think if you all think back, you can see in your mind's eye that expression of acceptance. I get it, okay. Her love for her family and her friends, her enthusiasm, her thirst to know will be things I will always treasure. So as is my habit, when someone comes to me and has a problem or is in a difficult place, I say, you need to talk to Aila. And I did that at one point, but Aila wasn't available that weekend, so I offered my friend a retreat, that I would direct a retreat for her, Amy. I called Aila and I said, you're not going to be in town this weekend, right? She goes, nope. I said, can I use your house for a retreat? She said, sure. Okay, first time I ever did that. She hadn't even met Amy. So here's Amy's words about what that experience was like. When you think of people in your life who you would call soul family, S-O-U-L, not because they're related to you by blood, but because they're related to you through love. I think of Aila. I feel exceptionally lucky to have met Aila by staying in her home on a personal retreat when I was going through a difficult time. Aila let me stay in her home by myself and without knowing me or even meeting me, not even once. If you've ever been in Aila's space, you know how peaceful it is and how you might get to know someone and their energy just by being in their space, even if they're not present. Over the years of knowing Aila, working with her on my own healing journey, and spending time with her in classes, trainings, reading her books, loving her, and being loved by her, all I can really say is this: Aila, thank you. Sometimes blessings happen that are so pure and good, you know a divine source exists. You know this, not because a person is perfect, but because of the loving being that they are. And it confirms for you that this earthly person is a reminder of an even grander force who loves you, cares about you, and knows you. This is what I was so fortunate to feel and experience through Aila. I could tell you so many stories, funny, touching, healing experiences, painful times she's helped me through. But I'm guessing that if you're here remembering her, you already have your own experiences, and you know what a delight, treasure, and intuitive, gifted soul Aila has been. I could think that the space she left is empty and feel hopeless. For me, she was a safe person. Just knowing she existed would bring comfort and a feeling that everything would be okay. Then I remember how I met her. Getting to experience Aila in the world, in the home she created. I could feel Aila love when she wasn't even there. I draw upon that memory now. I invite you to draw upon that memory, the memory you have of her love. One of the blessings I learned from my pug Pandora is that once you love someone, they are never really separated from you. When you love someone and you are blessed with their love back, whether it's a pug, a spiritual teacher, a blessed friend, soul family, even when they're no longer in the house, the physical house, the physical realm that you're in, they still exist. So Aila, even though I know you're not here physically, just like you weren't there the first time I met you, I trust you still exist in some other room, in some other space. I'm confident you are a blessing wherever you are. And I hope you remember you are still a blessing here. Thank you, Aila, for your great blessings.
Well, Kathy, since both you and Mary Beth both brought up the name change, I would like to tell a little story about that event. It was on Aila's 55th birthday, and I happened to be in Denver. I was doing a show, and my partner Lila was with me, and I got a phone call from Aila saying, Bob, I am changing my name, and I want you to know me by this from now on. I'm like, okay. I figured she was maybe going back to her maiden name, or I didn't think anything too extreme. And then I said, so what is it? She said, Aila Accad. So I said, okay. Why? And she told me exactly what Kathy just said. When I was born, my parents gave me a name. And when I was married, I took my husband's name. And our parents are gone. And I'm no longer a wife, I'm divorced. My children are married and have children of their own. I want to be who I want to be. I'm like, that's totally logical. I get that. I said, but Aila Accad? So she said, well, I went on Google Names. And I said, well, obviously you didn't get much past the A's. And she said, it means life-bearing vessel. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I see all that. And that's beautiful. So we all came to accept Aila Accad as part of our family. What is funny to me is that after all these years that she has lived by this gorgeous name, the past couple of weeks when she was in the hospital, she would be explaining or trying to explain her name to people to make it clear as to what her name was. And she would say, Accad, like a sneeze. And I said, for real? You take this beautiful name and this is how you want people to remember it? She made me laugh every day. We have a very special guest to join us tonight to play for us. Doug Imbrogno is going to play a song for us this evening. Thank you, Doug.
So Aila first came across my radar at the meditation circle in Charleston, which we've been meeting for many years. And Aila was one of the very first people who came and was a regular. And then some years later, I was at a retreat somewhere in the wilds of West Virginia, and I looked at the retreat schedule. And there was Aila leading the meditation and mindfulness session at that retreat, just kind of sitting there like a shaft of sunlight that had kind of blown into the retreat workshop. And I want to, in her memory, recite a very brief Buddhist meditation. May the fear-struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. May the suffering be free from suffering. So too may all beings be. From the highest realms of existence to the lowest, may all beings attain perfect peace. So, I'm going to sing a song that you know. My guitar is not charged, so I'm going to project my voice and let the guitar project itself. But this songs have a DNA in them and encode a lot of information. And there's a lot of information in this song that Aila transmitted in her life. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, the skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the skies are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney top. That's where you'll find me. Go back to the beginning. You're welcome to sing along. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, the skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney top. That's where you will find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
Thank you for that gift, Doug. Thank you. Aila had no shortage of accomplishments. The list is as long as your arm. But there were two which she was honored. And due to COVID and, well, the lack of time, they were not able to be physically bestowed on her. So we'd like to do that now. With your permission, we would like to have Lori McCombs from the West Virginia Nurses Association. There you are.
Beth will receive. Yes, yes. This is perfection. This is everything about Aila, like the atrium and the just how, right? Is this not perfection? This is perfect. This just like epitomizes Aila, you know, and her loved ones. And, you know, I'm the vice president. My name is Lori McComas Chaffins, and I'm the vice president of the West Virginia Nurses Association. But you know what? I'm more than that. I met Aila in 2011, and I had just completed a 15-month-long recovery program for substance use disorder. And I'm a registered nurse. I've been a nurse for almost 26 years. And I had just completed a program, and my friend, somebody invited me to Ann Bostic. I don't know if Ann's still here. I think she's still here. And so somebody invited me to Ann Bostic's house. And I met Aila. I didn't know her as Barbara. She's Aila, to me. And I was very unsure of myself. I was about 18 months sober when I met her, and I was really getting my life back because I had lost a lot. And I sat down with her, and she's sitting there and she's eating. Of course, she loved to eat, we love food, okay? We just do. And so anyway, so she was eating, and she introduced herself to me, and I told her, she asked me who I was, and I told her that I was in recovery, and she said, well, you're perfect then. And she said, we've been working on some legislation to start a program that's non-punitive, that's not disciplinary for registered nurses in West Virginia. And we've been writing this, and here you are. This is divine. And I said, okay. And so I said, okay. But I believed her, because when she spoke, you listened to her. You had to, right? I mean, she had a commanding presence, but it wasn't like insulting or, like intrusive or obnoxious. It was love. And I'm like, okay. And she said, you know what? And I was telling her my story, and she said, you know what? You need to be a lobbyist. And I'm like, what's that? And because I thought, well, that means that they do something at the legislature or something. Anyway, so I went to D.C. a few months later, and the Nurses Association, Aila, a strong part of it, Ann Bostic back there, and Beth Baldwin and Angie Nixon just wrote all this legislation. And I went to D.C. I was part of the political I don't want to take this hostage. You got to hear this, though. And so I went to this political advocacy institute, and I was there for a week, but I did a year-long mentorship anyway. My freshman, if you want to say that, if you will, session, I was lobbying with Angie Nixon. I didn't know anything really, but we passed Senate Bill 379 that brought about the nurse health program. We didn't pass it, but the legislature passed it. But the governor vetoed it on a technical, thing, and we ended up passing it anyway, at like 11/21, the last day of session. But anyway, it brought about what's called West Virginia Restore. It came about in July of 2012, and so now every registered nurse and because everybody's going to tell something that nobody else knows. You may not know this. But Aila was very, very much a huge part of this legislation coming to pass, becoming law, and the nurse health program being in existence. So every registered nurse in the state of West Virginia, every nursing student enrolled in an RN program is eligible if they have a mental health issue, including substance use disorder that affects their ability to practice safely, can go into this, they can get restored, and they can get back on their path. Yes. And, Aila, for me, I do public speak, Beth, so I'm just like taking this whole thing. But no, I'm going to shut up in a second. But you did a great job. Your mother's proud. Robert, she loved her baby brother, she's still with us. And, but you know what? She believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. I was very unsure coming back. I was very unsure about myself professionally, personally, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, what else there is. I was unsure about myself. And she said, you know what? You got to know who you are. You got to be who you're supposed to be. And I'd call her and she'd say, come over. So I'd go and I'd get lost. And I wouldn't. She said, well, you went the wrong way, And so she's like, you're supposed to go in that other way. You don't go this way. And I'm like, okay. And that led to conferences in New Orleans and in St. Augustine and everywhere else, and events and retreats. And one time we got lost at a retreat we were having a WVNA retreat at Beth's house up in Grafton at Tiger Lake or whatever. Well, anyway, so I picked her up in Charleston. And so she was like, we rode together all the way there, and we were talking about the future of the Nurses Association. And she said, you need to be president. And I said, shut up. And so she said, and so I'm vice president now. But anyway, so she said, you need to do this or that, whatever. We couldn't find the place. So we drive around. We're trying to find our cabin. And so we're driving around, and we're laughing hysterically because we can't find it. We can't see nothing. I don't know if you've been to Tiger State Park or whatever. You can't see. There's no lights. And so we're like trying to find this cabin. We passed this deer. It scared us to death. So here's this big old deer beside the road. And so she went, oh my God, there's a deer. And I'm like, I know. And so we kept driving, and it was like 15 minutes into it. We're just driving around, and we think we're getting to it, right? We think we're getting to it, and we get right back up, and there's a deer. She went, holy S-H-I-T, is that the same deer? She's like, did it move? So we were going in a circle. But anyway, so I have a lot of good memories with Aila. It's an honor to honor her. She lived for her family. She lived for people being better, and she loved nurses. And when I went to see her, I got a text from Ann, and she had told me that Aila was, transitioning. And on my lunch break, I went to the hospital, and there was all these people, like everybody's saying, there's all these people outside the door, and I got my opportunity to go in there, and I wasn't sure, medication and whatnot. I didn't know if she would know who I was, and, I've gained a little bit of weight. Just shut up. Don't say anything about it. Anyway, but I walked in, and I leaned over, and just like she like somebody said, she put my hand on her chest, and I said, Aila, I said, do you know who I am? She said, Lori. And I was like, oh, thank goodness. And I was like, I love you. And she said, I love you. And she said, you guys are my pride and joy. And I knew who she was talking about. She wasn't talking about me and a couple people. She was talking about nurses. And it's an honor to give Beth the 2021. We were going to do it at the fall conference, but she went ahead and went somewhere better. And this is the 2021 West Virginia Nurses Association Lifetime Contribution to Nursing Award for Aila Accad. And we love her. And thank you very much. I have notes. I don't read them though. I probably missed all kinds of stuff, but you got it.
Lori, before we just go on, I just have to say, it spoke very, very strongly to me when you just said that she said to you, you got to know who you are. And last night, when I was writing what I was going to say, this song has not been in my head, and I hadn't heard it in a long time, but I Gotta Be Me was playing in my head. So I know she was with me, and I know she's here tonight. I would like to ask Chris Zinn and Sharon Cart to come on up from the West Virginians for Affordable Health Care.
Good evening. I'm Sharon Cart, Board President of West Virginians for Affordable Health Care. And as the name implies, we're an advocacy organization that advocates for quality, affordable health care for all. And I was really pleased among all the celebrations and things that I see on the screen up there that there's a great shot of Bob Thompson and Aila with our Health Care for All stickers. So that just lets you know about her commitment. In 2020, actually, Aila was awarded by our organization the John D. Rockefeller IV Lifetime Career Achievement in Healthcare Award. And this was announced in the spring on a video conference, but unfortunately we weren't able to present Aila with her plaque, which it takes two of us to hold up in a minute. But we're really grateful to the family to allow us to have this opportunity and come full circle. And now I'll let Chris, who's our organization's secretary, speak to some of Aila's accomplishments.
And as a nurse on the executive committee, I knew Aila, and Aila was an inspiration to me, as with so many of you. And it's hard to even know where to begin to say what she meant to me. But so many others have said so many great things today. So I feel honored to be giving this award. I'm so sad that we're not giving it to Aila in person. This award is for a lifetime achievement in health policy and access, health access. And as Sharon said, we believe that good health for West Virginians includes physical, mental, and social well-being, and not just the treatment of disease. We strive to make healthcare affordable, accessible, and equitable. Aila's passion and life's work was dedicated to wellness and empowering nurses to be change agents. She supported West Virginia's for Affordable Healthcare's mission and believed that nursing was vitally important to it. In nursing school, she learned that stress was responsible for 85% of disease and illness, and that took her into the field of stress management. And her early career was spent consulting in employee assistance. As a health coach, speaker, and author, she helped so many people improve their health. She served as a devoted advocate for the nursing profession, including as president of the West Virginia Nurses Association. She was involved in numerous legislative efforts to change West Virginia health policy so that nurses and patients could be safe and protected, and access to care could be expanded. She was key to successful efforts to improve laws addressing needle stick safety and preventing mandatory nurse overtime, and retiring outdated barriers to nursing scope of practice. She trained nurses in grassroots efforts, including to serve as legislative leaders, as Lori mentioned. She mentored and supported nurses who wanted to improve healthcare in West Virginia. The APRN bill was passed in 2016 after a 9-year effort and expanded access to care in many underserved counties. In fact, in the last 4 years or so, I think we've expanded. We have 20% more APRNs in West Virginia, which is wonderful. In 2013, she became the first executive director of Future of Nursing West Virginia Action Coalition. She knew that nurses were the future of healthcare. They offered a holistic approach and could promote health. Future of Nursing West Virginia has received numerous awards under Aila's leadership. She was building a culture of health in West Virginia through advances in nursing practice, education, and leadership. She has trained nurse entrepreneurs, supported faith community nursing, and has reached out to middle school and high school students to show them the diverse career opportunities in nursing. With Faces of West Virginia Nursing, posters of a nurse who graduated from the local school are now displayed in many high schools across the state. This is encouraging our young people to become nurses, what we really need. Aila knew that nurses would be the future of West Virginia's healthcare system and could change it for the better. She was a fierce proponent of building a strong, diverse, equitable nursing workforce and developing models to embed quality nursing care in every community to improve the health of West Virginia. We honor her legacy of lifelong service with this well-deserved, prestigious J. Rockefeller Award. And Beth?
And with Aila's continuing support, we'll realize that vision of healthcare for all. Thank you all so much.
Okay. Last but not least, I would like to ask our dear Lori Marino to come up from the Future of Nursing, West Virginia. She's taking a picture, so she's also a professional photographer.
You know, y'all praise the Lord. I'm the last. Okay, hang on. So, if the registered nurses in the room would please join me in the front at the podium. I'd like to assemble an honor guard to deliver the Nightingale Tribute. All nurses, please join me. Please accept a white rose in remembrance of Aila, a symbol of our appreciation for being Aila's nurse colleagues. My name is Lori Marino. I have enjoyed a long and layered friendship with Aila over many, many years. She was my friend, mentor, confidant, colleague, and business partner. And some of you probably know she was also one of my patients. Today, I stand with you representing the Future of Nursing Action Coalition, an organization Aila so passionately led. I'm humbled by the opportunity to deliver the Nightingale Tribute, a poem written by Dean Yeager. The poem acknowledges the nurse's life of service to others and our quest to relieve suffering. It's a way for us to honor a nurse's commitment and dedication to the science and practice of nursing. I've always felt that one of the gifts of cancer is the gift of time. Time to prepare. Time to prepare to leave. Time to reflect on one's legacy. Time to say what you need to say, to who and when it needs to be said. And Aila did just that, including writing her own version of the Nightingale Tribute. I had to laugh when Bob mentioned about Aila being a breech birth and how she did things in her own way, and that is so true, right up till the very end of this program, when I get to share with you her rendition of the Nightingale Tribute. I'm honored to deliver her words to you as part of her legacy. You can follow along with me. This is on the back side of the program. When a calming, quiet presence was all that was needed, Aila was there. Amid anxiety and worry, Aila was there. When hope was needed, Aila was there. When tapping or a Reiki touch could relieve stress and duress, Aila was there. When things seemed difficult to understand, Aila was there to help make meaning. When the situation called for creativity and innovation, Aila was there. When a gentle touch or a firm push was needed, Aila was there. When a hearty dose of laughter, a strong embrace, or the simple words of, "You've got this," Aila was there. When doubt crept in, Aila was there, reminding us to delight in our resilience and possibilities. And even though Aila has transitioned from dwelling on the earth to dwelling in the universe, she is still here. For the gifts of her joy, energy, and compassion remain with us. Thank you all.
That concludes our program for the evening. I would like you all to get a glass and raise a toast. To an inspirational colleague, to a devoted friend, to a loving mother, mother-in-law, grandmother, sister, aunt, and great-aunt. Your light will continue to inspire us and forever shine in our hearts. We will miss you terribly, yet we wish you Godspeed on your continuing journey. Till we meet again, to Aila. Oh, she's loving this. Thank you, everyone, for being here. God bless. Have a good night.